Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Y'all probably like, who is this girl? Where has she been? So if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Stefania and I am a registered nurse, and I started this channel themed lifestyle, beauty, and all about nursing. I haven't been on this channel for months now. I haven't recorded videos for months, mainly because there's been a little change in my career. I'm no longer a staff nurse. I am strictly a travel nurse right now. Right now things are not really hot for travel nurses, but I started doing travel nursing in January. My first assignment was in Washington, and I started January 17th, and so I've been traveling ever since. I am currently on my second assignment in Iowa, and also I started my master's degree in nursing education. That's also something that's new that I started, and that is literally a quick update on my life. Nothing exciting really has happened. So I just wanted to make this video with some travel tips for anyone who is interested in traveling, and or any new grad who's interested in traveling. I started traveling after 1 year of med-surg oncology experience, and so I felt comfortable enough to start traveling. And one thing about travel nursing is that, yes, I know they recommend that you do 2 years before you start traveling, but my main tip is ask questions. Like, you can learn a lot of things. Whether you are a travel nurse or a staff nurse, you're constantly learning. And if you stay within the realm that you started with, I believe that you will be fine. And so that's literally how I've been rocking it through travel nursing. So I have some tips and advice for you guys who are interested in going into travel nursing, or who is hesitant to do travel nursing. Hopefully these tips can help you guys. So first thing first, like I said earlier, ask questions. Every facility that you go to, they have different policies. They have different rules and regulations. And there are some facilities or some hospitals that you will see, okay, same thing, of course, you can choose what kind of system you're comfortable with, whether it's Epic, whether it's Meditech, whether it's using the medication administration Omnicell or Pyxis. So these little things can be the same, they can remain the same. But if you ever have a question about something, use the resources that the hospital provides. And that could be going through their main website and looking through their policies, or that could be through your charge nurse or another fellow staff nurse. So ask questions, and I cannot emphasize that enough. If you have the slightest doubt, the slightest worry about something, ask questions, ask someone, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't think that your question is dumb or is gonna make you incompetent as a traveler, because that is not true. You're trying to protect your license, so it is best that you ask a question. Second, I would say when you are looking for a travel position, make sure you have written down the things that you want in that facility. Make a list of must-haves that you want in whatever facility that you're going to. So make sure you communicate that with your recruiter. And if your recruiter is unable to answer some questions, ask him or her, hey, is it possible for me to get an interview from that facility? Because some facilities, they don't require the traveler to have an interview. I've been through that. This facility specifically that I'm in did not require me to have an interview. So I asked my recruiter, like, hey, is it possible for me to talk to the manager or someone who would be able to answer my questions? For me, some must-haves is knowing the patient to nurse ratio, knowing whether or not we have CNAs throughout the night, knowing whether we have a resource nurse at night, if there will be a charge nurse on the units. So these are all things that you want to know before you take a contract. Other things can be pay range, and those things you can talk to your recruiter about, and I'm sure they would know, like pay range, certifications that you're required to have. All these things, do your research, and if you want, you can even compare your staff nurse job and see, oh wow, I really like this about my staff nurse job, and I want to continue to work in an environment like this. So make sure you ask your recruiter questions about what you are going into and what's expected of you as a nurse. And if there are some questions that they can't answer, ask your recruiter, hey, I would like to speak to the manager so that I can have a clear idea of what I'm going into for this assignment. Third advice I would give is travel with someone. And I am saying that as someone who is traveling alone, because if you're going to a whole new state where you don't know anyone, it is always best that you have a friend or a nursing buddy with you, whether it's your spouse or family, or a fellow travel buddy that you have that you've known for a while, and you both decide to do travel nursing. Try to see if you guys can correlate the state where you guys are headed to, or whether it's the same state, whether the same facility. But it definitely helps when you travel with a buddy. I say that because it helps with expenses. Housing right now, everything right now is expensive. And especially with rates going down, it's summertime, it's expected. You want to try to save as much as possible. And so having a buddy to share housing with, to share gas expenses, groceries, it definitely helps a lot. And you feel less lonely. You two are able to explore together. You're more comfortable. There's nothing wrong with traveling alone. If you are comfortable being alone, that's okay, because I have learned a lot about myself traveling alone. I've learned to enjoy my own company. It's really up to you and the type of person that you are. So my recommendation would be to travel with someone. If you're comfortable being alone, then girl, rock it on your own, because it is doable. So yeah, if you are traveling alone, I would recommend that you pick a state or a city that is very busy. Because if you are alone, you don't want to be in an excluded area. Check your demographics so that if you go to this area, you will feel comfortable, you will feel safe. There's a gym close by, or there's a lot of coffee shops close by. So all these little things make a difference. And before you say yes to a contract, make sure that you do your research around the area and see whether or not you would like it and whether or not you will feel safe there. Another advice that I would give, just to tie in what I just said, also look at the expenses. So if the expenses are extremely high here, in terms of housing, try to do your research on housing. That is so important, because you want to make sure you have your housing situation figured out before you just fly to your destination or drive to your destination. Make sure that you are looking at every possible thing to see whether or not this contract will be an advantage to you. My last tip will be to join travel nurse associations or to follow travel nurse groups on Facebook, Instagram. There's a lot of travel nurses that have been successful in this field, and they have great advice or tips that they constantly put out there for travel nurses. It just feels good to know that you have other people that may struggle with what you're going through. If you have a question, you can always put it on that travel nurse group. I know the Facebook group is pretty open. And so if you ever have a question about a facility, usually they post their ratings on a facility that they just went to, or they post some advice for new nurses or for nurses that are just going into travel nursing. It's a really good community, and it's always good to be aware of what's going on in the travel nurse field. I highly recommend that you all do your research before just accepting any assignment or just jumping into travel nursing. Make sure that this is what you want to do, because it involves a sacrifice. As long as you know that this is the path you want to take and that you are willing to take that step forward into travel nursing, then girl or guy, go for it. Okay, go for it. And you will not regret it. And don't beat yourself up if your first travel assignment did not go so well or did not go as planned. Just take that opportunity and learn from it. Learn something from that assignment. And the more assignments you do, the more you'll learn, the better you'll get at it. And before you know it, it's gonna be a breeze. So I wish you all the best. If you are looking into traveling, I wish you the best. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to put it down below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to answer them. And if you want me to do a part 2 of this video, I'll also be glad to do that. It feels so good to record again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe and join this family. Thank you. Until next time.